there for a minute, I was just like, all right, now we just gotta wait for Michael to get here. But okay, so does everybody remember where you guys were last session that we played of the main campaign? What you guys were doing?
Yes, we just killed the stone spiders and we were locked up in that library.
Mm-hmm. You just came up from underground. Where you guys got fucked up by that door a couple times and made your way back up into the main level of that library. You guys had barricaded the doors and as best you could, and were bedding down to take a long rest. And so, for the premise, for like the setup of this particular one shot, um, Calico Jack has drawn first watch, and so the party all beds down to try to get some much needed rest after. Oh shit, we lost Eric. Well, poo. And he's back. Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Was that accidental or was that like just random? Gotcha.
It goes out like for a second and then just comes right back.
Okay. All right. So you guys all have kind of laid down and are trying to get some much needed rest after all this, while Calico Jack takes first watch. Time passes and you guys each find it a little difficult to sleep with the because as you guys are laying on the floor in various places trying to get some rest, every so often you'll feel vibrations through the stones in the floor of spiders out in the hallway area, or perhaps other places around you in this structure that you can't necessarily see, but every once in a while you can almost kind of feel their feet, just slight vibrations to the ground. But eventually each of you doze off to sleep. Each of you also begins to experience, just almost as soon as you fall asleep, strange, odd, vivid, almost like stress dreams. Just fitfulness, and kind of restlessness and a feeling of stress. And each of you is kind of jolted awake, almost seemingly out of nowhere. You all kind of sit up at the same time and look around, and you hear a shuffling going on, and you kind of like, you're looking around and you don't see Calico Jack perched up, sitting on the desk where he was when he was watching. And as you look around the room, you find him on the opposite side of the room, ripping what's left of some of these old tomes off the shelves, throwing them over his head. He's just throwing them, and he's like, just like a madman, just like he's searching for something. He's just throwing tomes everywhere. Is there anything you guys would like to do, say, as he's kind of just manically looking around through these tomes on the wall?
Yeah, I'm gonna
Good, bro.
yell at him from across the room. Hey, what's going on?
He kind of looks back. He looks over his shoulder at you, and his eyes are just, I mean, wide as saucers. And he has this almost painful-looking ear-to-ear grin on his face. And he's just, I mean, when he looks at you, it's almost terrifying. You've never seen his face contorted quite like this. And he just looks back, and he begins to throw books off the shelf again.
Can I make some kind of roll, maybe insight, to see if has any kind of affliction that's been bestowed
Yeah, go ahead and
upon
roll
him.
insight.
That's a nat 20 plus 5.
Okay. You immediately get the sense that something is deeply not okay right now. Like, you become immediately unsettled, not only by his appearance and the look on his face, but just, you don't remember there being this many books on the shelves. You thought that it was pretty much bare. There were a few things here and there, some old, like, dusty remnants of books, but you don't remember there being even this many books on the shelf. And as you kind of notice that, you look around and the room doesn't look quite exactly the way it does. It almost looks like complete. It almost looks like put back together, like maybe the way it used to be. And as you're noticing all of this, a screech that kind of just, at first, just startles all of you, and you realize that it's Calico Jack, and it's the screech of triumph as he's and he pulls a book and opens it, and just water begins to, I mean, like a fucking hydrant, just begins to flood everywhere and absolutely begins to fill this room up. Before you know it, it's knee deep. You guys are trying to fight and get up. Your gear, everything that was what you were laying on is wet, and he's just cackling maniacally as he drops the book and it splashes under the water, and you just see this geyser of water as the room is filling up.
All right. Is there a door?
Yeah, but it is barricaded. You guys have barricaded the what seems to be the only way out, other than the entrance that you guys know that goes beneath.
Okay. I am going to, I guess, pull a Brandon from previous campaigns. It's a wooden door, correct?
Hold on, I'm
What'd you
actually trying
say?
to remember.
I
He's
said
gonna
it's
pull a
a
Brandon.
from previous
Kick the door in.
campaigns.
No, as a matter of fact, if I remember correctly, I think it was a stone door, but I don't.
Oh, well, fuck.
I'm trying to remember. Hold on. I don't know if I wrote
Rolled
that
it.
down. You know what? Fuck it. Yes, sure, Eric. It's a wood door. It's a
I'm gonna
it's a
drop kick-
iron banded, reinforced wooden door.
I want to drop kick the top of the door.
Okay, so do so at disadvantage because you're now waist deep in water, trying to jump out of the water to drop kick something.
While he's
Yeah, but see, he's jumping at the top of the door though. So how does that work?
He still has to jump up out of the water. And I mean, I know you're a big, strong orc boy, but
doing this, I'm gonna cast water breathing on the party.
okay, yeah. So you cast
Um,
water breathing on the party.
While we're doing
and
that, I want to go try and close said book.
okay, yeah, go ahead.
We want me to roll for that or like?
Strength.
All right,
You know where the book is.
it's a fucking 3. I don't. It's not.
Yeah,
gonna do
you
it.
can't even get close to it. The water's just coming out too fast. It's almost up. What'd you get, Eric? What was your roll?
11.
Yeah, you don't really get all the way out of the water, and you end up just splashing, like landing flat on your back. And you're like, at this point, the water is like neck high on you guys, except for Captain Zezel. Zezel's been floating for a minute. he's been having to swim for a grip. You guys, it's neck level. He's been off the ground for a minute. And just rapid. Now you got the room is just continuing to rapidly fill up as you guys are now floating closer and closer to the top. Is there anything you guys would like to? Any more things that you guys would like to try to do? As this room is now filling. You got maybe 6 feet before it's at the roof.
What are we doing, Cap? Need some orders.
I can hardly talk. I'm sitting here trying not to drown.
You have water breathing cast on you, so you're not drowning, but
Yeah.
you are like you just haven't your feet haven't been touching for a minute.
Yeah, I'm only like what 2 feet tall.
A little over. You're like just under 4 feet tall, from my recollection. So yeah,
3'2".
and it was when it was. Oh yeah, so when it was waist high on them, you were already like up to your eyeballs. So.
I guess. Fuck it. Let's magic missile the book.
There
Okay,
you
yeah.
go.
So, you cast magic missile on the book, and
Do I need to roll damage
you
or no?
yeah, go ahead and roll damage. But as you cast the magic missiles, they just into the water.
Oops.
Wait, and we need to describe what your magic missiles are again,
There's
since water's appropriate.
yeah, they are. They're still the dolphins that like
Mhm.
they're kind of like
Yeah,
have little rudders
so you
hanging
just
off the bottom.
yeah, so you just see these dolphins, these long dick dolphins,
That's a
just
11
fucking.
damage.
Okay. So you cast the magic missile, and these dolphins just into the water, and it doesn't seem to have much of an effect as the water reaches all the way to the top. You guys are kind of heads up, and then over your head, and now you are completely submerged in water. And now you can see the book sitting on the ground. Now that you guys are completely submerged, all of you guys can breathe underwater because those of you who are not of an aquatic race have had water breathing cast upon you. So you guys are just kind of looking around, and you see the book now laying on the ground, and you can kind of see the distortion of the water as it's pushing water out of the book. And then it almost seems to stop, and you kind of feel the water begin to still, and then begin to start to like rotate around the room and go faster. Now you guys are spinning around the room with it. Almost the current of it is taking you around the room as you begin to notice that a little bit of a gap is opening up at the ceiling and the water level is starting to come back down as the
Yeah.
room is spinning
So
around and around in this.
is it going into the book?
It appears to be
Okay.
swirling down into the book.
What is Calico Jack doing?
Calico
Yeah,
Jack, make a perception check.
That's a 10.
16 plus something.
So Venkin,
Oh.
you guys are, as you're looking around, you see Calico Jack. You see him, he's underwater and he's swimming, and he's kind of like moving things out of the way to get to the book, and he's kind of fighting against the current, and he gets there, and he just into the book, and he's gone.
Fuck.
Okay.
Well, now I feel like
So
I
we're
gotta chase
following
after
him?
him.
Yeah, are we following him, or am I changing into something and closing the book? And
I say we can try and spend like a desk over the book or
Calico
something.
Jack.
Fuck Calico Jack.
Fucking, he's in the book.
Yeah, no. We'll just bring the book with us going forward. It's fine. Open it up outside and deal with it then.
Outside, he just comes spilling out like a newborn. It's all slimy and wet.
Gross.
No, yeah, you see Calico Jack just head first right into the book, and he kind of, as his head
Can I try
enters
to
the
grab
crease
him?
of the pages,
Am I
you
close
see
enough?
his feet spin really quick, and then shoot.
Am I close
down.
enough
Yeah,
to
no,
try and
you're not-
grab him?
No, you're probably 15, 20 feet away from him.
Shit.
You're a fast swimmer, but you don't think you can get there in time.
Okay. All right. Well,
But you're welcome to try.
fuck it. I'll try.
Okay.
What do you want me to roll?
Athletics.
That's a 9.
your rolls are garbage.
So because you're an aquatic creature and you're a very fast swimmer, you actually make it to him, and you grab a hold of his ankle just as he starts to spin, and you spin with him, both of you, right down into the book. As this happens, Perry, instantly, as soon as you feel your body kind of start to compress as you're spinning, you're unconscious. And then you're in the book. So now it's just Zezel, Uruk, and Venkin, and you have now just seen Perry and Calico Jack get pulled into this book.
I guess I'm headed for the book too. I'm not gonna let my mates go into the book without me.
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah. And Uruk and Venkin, you see now your captain swimming towards the book.
Yeah, I'll go for it.
And,
Yeah,
yeah, so
I got
as
you.
and you guys are kind of also still in this almost maelstrom of being spun around as you guys are watching this all happen towards the center, and you guys begin to fight your way towards the book. And as you do, you notice the water gets faster and faster and faster and faster and faster before to the point where you can't really see anything anymore, and you're just moving so quickly. And the next thing you know, you just feel your bodies compress, and then lights out. A moment of darkness passes. You don't know how long. You have no sense of time, place, self, anything. And then all of you wake up. All of you wake up, and you're still underwater. But you're in it. You're in a almost like an underwater cave. You wake up and go ahead.
Are they still able to breathe water?
As everybody wakes up and notice and start to realize, oh shit, we're all underwater. You look around, everyone's accounted for except Calico Jack. All of you kind of look around and realize, oh shit, we're still underwater. But yes, you can breathe. Nothing seems any different. You still feel you're just really fucking confused. But yes, you guys can all breathe underwater. You find yourself, like I said, in this basically like underground cave, but Zezel, Uruk, and Venkin, you really have no frame of reference of this, but Perry, being from an underwater civilization, you get the immediate impression that this is not like a naturally formed underwater cave, so to speak. This has been created, and it immediately gives you the impression that this was created by some underwater, some kind of underwater race has created this chamber that you're in. It has hallmarks of almost being purposefully carved out with like maybe some kind of water magic or something of that nature to erode away at the rock. As all of the walls show like almost like signs in the rock of like a massive vortex has eroded the water away into this almost perfectly circular room. And as you guys are kind of just looking around trying to get your bearings, all of you make a perception check.
18.
7.
18? 7?
3.
Okay.
I'm pretty disoriented.
Yeah.
It is a 19.
19. So, Uruk and Venkin, Perry, you're too busy just like inspecting, like visually just trying to put together where the fuck you are. Venkin, Captain Zezel, you are just you're shaken, not stirred, trying to figure out where the fuck you are. And the two of you though notice that on one side of the room there is like what looks to be like some kind of natural rock formation that's kind of a little twisted, and it rotates up a little bit to a bit of a jagged point. It's maybe 6-8 feet tall. And you notice some movement behind this rock formation. Just a little flash of something, kind of almost as if something was peeking around the rock formation looking at you guys, and then as soon as you notice, kind of jumps back behind the rock.
Who goes there?
You call out. You call out, but all that really comes out is bubbles kind of blown away from your mouth.
Wild shape.
Into what then?
I don't know.
I'm trying to think. Like, you guys said it has to be something I've seen before, right?
It has to be some kind of creature you've seen before, yeah.
I have the message cantrip. I could try and message it.
Yeah, go for it. I mean, I don't know what wild shaping's gonna do for me right now.
Well, I mean, I don't know. You could. I know that
All
a
right,
lot of
so
like aquatic creatures or aquatic races can speak with aquatic animals.
is
So
it
it could be like
any
a
kind of aquatic animal at all, Nick? Did we get
You
that?
didn't.
Is
You
it
didn't tell. You just saw. Yeah. With you
just
didn't.
move?
You couldn't tell exactly what it was. You just saw something was peeking at you from around the corner and ducked back behind
Right,
the
right.
rock.
But what I'm getting at is, say it's like a triton or something along those lines. They can speak to fish. So if you turn into a fish, you'd be able to.
All right, so wait, hang on. I do have like a fourth wall break question on that one. So I can do the same thing. So if we both can speak to aquatic creatures, couldn't we speak to each other?
Well, he could. Okay. So technically speaking, the two of you really couldn't necessarily be having this conversation out loud right now. However,
No, yeah.
yeah. So, but if you were an aquatic creature, he could talk to you. Yes, you could talk. You could communicate with Perry a lot more efficiently than you could now. I would imagine that as of right now, you're using the message cantrip to communicate these thoughts back and forth between your heads.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. But I'm jumping out of the game for a second. I do have that question. Like,
Okay.
if two separate races can both speak to, is that a language to talk to animals?
No, I think it's
like
more of like
it's
a
race feature.
yeah, it's a race feature. It's not really so
So-
much as like a
If two separate races have that same feature, would they be able to speak to themselves, even though they're not?
I don't think they'd be able to speak to each other. They'd be able to speak to a fish, and that fish could speak back to the second person and have like a translator.
right. Yeah. Almost
Okay.
like be middleman.
Okay, I'm having trouble with that logic, but thank you.
Yeah.
All right then. Yeah, let's just go ahead and we'll I don't know, wild shape it to a dolphin.
Wild shape into a
And-
dolphin. Okay, yeah. So you
yeah,
wild
and I'll
shape and
pull up
immediately become a dolphin. Um, so yeah, are you gonna swim over there and investigate, or are you just gonna call
Yeah.
out?
Yeah, I'll swim over there.
So as you kind of begin to swim and kind of get your bearings moving in the way of a dolphin does, you kind of come around the rock and see a small, um, basically essentially child, basically a mermaid child. Lower half fish, upper half small young girl. Um, Obviously not in the vein of like traditional mermaids where they look completely human on the top half, more of like blue skin with the occasional scales here and there, webbing coming off of the forearm and massively webbed fingers, strange eyes that don't have eyelids but instead have almost like these clear like alien like sideways blinking eyelids and gills on the neck and that sort of thing, but it's a small child nonetheless.
Okay. Can it understand me?
You can try, yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll say like,
He says,
who are you?
Yeah, you guys just hear yeah, like classic SpongeBob dolphin sound come out of Perry. You can understand this, but Zezel and Baruch, you just hear dolphin noises and you're like, what the fuck is happening? But she kind of like giggles and she says she kind of looks up at you and she says who are you?
My name is.
What do I hear when she
You don't
says,
hear
"Who are
anything.
you?"
You don't hear anything.
I just say my name is Venk, and we don't know what's going on. Where are we?
And she's kind of like peeks around the rock and kind of like looks at the rest of the party and says well, you're in You're in the temple of the goddess, of course.
Which one?
What do you mean, the goddess of the sea?
You got a name?
Yeah. But she's kind of like almost stunned that a dolphin doesn't know the goddess of the sea in only a way that a child like makes you feel dumb about yourself. You know what I mean? By like calling you out. She's like, yeah, Calypso, the goddess of the sea. And
Oh.
you hear this, Venkin, and you've heard of this place, or not Venkin, Perry. You've heard of this place before. You've heard of basically no one knows where it's at for certain. That anyways, from your tribe, no one knew exactly for certain where it was at, but you've heard of this place before. And you've definitely heard of the goddess of the sea, Calypso. Although you do know that not many land-faring races, surface dwellers, really know much about, if anything, about Calypso. So, yeah, she says, you're in the temple to the goddess Calypso. Are you? And then she says, are you here to help us?
Yeah, sure. We can do that. We kind of just came in a book. So,
she kind of gives you a look like, fuck is a book? And then she kind of like tentatively swims out from around the rock, and she notices you. She notices that you're a Triton, and she kind of looks at you, and she says something to you in an abyssal tongue, or it's not abyssal, it's primordial, right? In a primordial tongue. And she says, she begins to speak to you, and she says, she kind of looks at the other two, and as she begins to speak, she notices Zezel and Uruk, and is like, almost like looking at them like, what the fuck are they? She's never seen an orc before, ever in her life. She's like, what the fuck? And has, she's seen humans before from a distance, but she's never seen a small one either. Basically a small looking human like Zezel, so she's a little, like, you can tell she's nervous, especially of the orc, because he looks mean. But she says to you in a primordial language, she says, will you help us? And she kind of looks nervous of those two, but doesn't look to be like she means you guys any harm whatsoever.
okay. Are you alone?
Well, I'm alone down here.
Where's everybody else at?
Well, they're around. I just like to come down here because it's peaceful.
You were gonna say something, Perry?
Yeah. I was gonna tell her, you don't need to be afraid of them. They're not gonna hurt you. I was gonna ask what she needed help with.
And she says, she seems to trust you because you're a Triton and she's used to Tritons. So she seems to kind of trust you, and she's like, okay, well, everybody else is kind of in a panic, which is why I came down here for some quiet, but Calypso's most precious, well, her most precious possession has been stolen. It's been stolen by this covetous sea serpent. And she says, we're afraid that if it's not returned before Calypso awakens, that she'll destroy everything. It's her most prized possession.
Okay.
You've heard of this. You've heard of the Pearl of Calypso. Perry, it's only a legend to your people. You're not even certain if it's real, but it is basically a pearl the size of your head, and you're not sure of what's accurate and what's inaccurate because the legends are slightly different amongst most of the northern tribes, or a little different here, a little different there, but it's a very very, 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 very magical item. It is it is said to have all different manner of powers, different things that it can do. Some even say that it is the source of the goddess's power in and of itself. Like, it is the source of her power and her divinity. And she says that it's been stolen by this ancient sea serpent. Basically, you would know that these sea serpents are essentially like dragons. They're basically dragons, and there aren't very many of them, but they're around, and this is pretty much typical shit for them. They raid various underwater people, just like dragons do on the surface. They raid and they take precious things and hoard things and things of that nature.
Okay. I ask her, what can you tell me of this sea serpent? Do you know where it went? Do you know what do you know about it?
Well, he's one we've never seen before, but so I don't know his name, but he's not massively far from here. He's taken over some old ruins just on the other side of the I guess fuck, what would be the word? On the other side of the trench. And when she says trench, you get the meaning that it's that, underwater features of something like the Mariana Trench, or something, these large, big trenches and stuff. And you get the sense that she means on the other side of this great chasm underwater.
Okay.
She says, I can show you the way, but I don't want to go there.
Well, have you?
And she says, if you can help us to return the pearl to its resting place before the lady awakens, then I'm certain she will be most pleased and grant you, I don't know, anything, a boon or a favor. I don't know. The goddess can be very. I've never personally met her, but from my family, from what my grandma tells me, she can be very, very, very kind, or very, 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 very unkind.
Okay.
She kind of
What
trails off.
We
what are your people doing about it right now? Like, obviously, you're a child and you're asking strangers to help you. What are your people doing?
Well, they're mostly up there panicking right now, and trying to come up with a plan on how to get it back, and try to find brave warriors who will go and try to defend us and go reclaim the pearl.
Real quick, does Aruk just hear dolphin chittering and nothing?
So yeah, actually, so most of this conversation is going on in languages and things that you don't understand. So Aruk, you really have no idea what's going on. You just see Perry and Dolphin Vinkin communicating with this small mer child, and otherwise you have no fucking clue what's going on. Same
and
thing with you,
Zezel are
Zezel.
just
You
like,
guys are just like,
bro, you see
what
what
the fuck? Will somebody fucking tell us what is going on?
I'm gonna look at the girl and I'm gonna be like, "Have you seen Fishman?"
That's what I was getting ready to ask. I want to ask her if I tell her like we came here through a tome, um, following a friend. Have you seen? And then I describe Calico Jack.
She says, no, I haven't seen him. You were the first people that appeared here to me. I haven't seen anyone else. And I've been out here for a while, hiding from all the noise and stuff.
Okay. Do your people have any warriors that would be able to assist us in our quest?
We don't have many warriors here. Most of those who live in our tribe are just acolytes dedicated to Calypso. And so basically you get the impression that this particular, you begin to, as she tells you more about it, you get the impression that this is basically like these people are a very non-violent people. They're not a warrior class of people. They're all almost entirely like a group of people dedicated to Calypso who, are clerics and things of that nature to Calypso. something like that.
All right. I am going to turn to Aruk and Zezel and say in common, they haven't seen Jack. Their goddess has an item that's been stolen, and they want assistance retrieving it.
So you say this out loud, like with your mouth.
Yep, out loud.
Okay,
Or
so.
no, hold on. No.
I was wondering the same thing, Nick.
Nope. I messaged them. I'm gonna message them.
I just want to imagine the look on their faces when you like try to like turn
Yeah,
and
Barry
speak to them.
turns you. So, you guys each receive a message in your head detailing basically the predicament that you find yourselves in and the question that this young merchild is asking of your compatriots. Each
So
of
I'm
you
gonna
can
message
respond to that
back.
message.
Yeah, I'm gonna respond and say, "Yo, is there any way I can talk out loud? Because I don't have any of this magic stuff." I'm like, you can just see me just chilling
Yeah,
there, like
I'm
in
looking
heavy
right
armor,
now.
just like struggle busting it, waiting.
Well, wait, hang on. How does shape water work with like trying to build them like a bubble around their head?
That's a good question.
I mean, so it would work in the sense that. Okay, so it would work in the sense that you could create a void of water in a bubble shape around his head, but it wouldn't help the sound penetrate through the water.
Okay.
Sound doesn't carry very far through water.
So I want to ask the girl if they have any clerics in their village that would be able to teach me the tongues spell.
She kind of thinks about it for a second, and she says, perhaps. Follow me. And she kind of swims and out from around the rock and goes to the other side where you guys hadn't noticed before. There's a kind of like a hole in the roof where there's like a tunnel where you can kind of just swim up. And this is something that might be strange to the rest of you, but Perry, this is completely normal for you. This is kind of, they don't really have like stairways and hallways and shit. It's little tunnels that you can swim through to get to different rooms and stuff in places like this. So, but yeah, just she goes and swims up one of these tunnels leading upward.
I message Aruk and I say, hold that thought, and then I follow.
Yeah. So is it just you that's following the girl, or is it, and everybody else is staying here, or is everyone following?
Follow. Okay, so now I have another question on the shape water. So 5-foot cube. So if it's a 5-foot cube, can I put? How many people can I fit in a 5-foot cube? Can I fit at least the two of them, or can I fit all of us in it? And if I can manipulate it,
I mean, not you in dolphin form for sure, and probably not. I mean, you have to remember you're like 7 fucking feet tall. So yeah, you wouldn't be able to. Yeah, I mean, you could fit in there with maybe Zezel, but you guys would be nut to butt in there.
You could fit a 5-foot cube, and we could all stick our heads in and talk to each other.
I've also got shape water, so we could just put 2 of them next to each other.
Well, I was thinking at least them 2. Well, then I gotta change it to dolphin form, so I'm either letting them like talk out loud, or I'm gonna continue to be a part of the conversation.
I'm just gonna start doggy paddling behind him.
Yeah, you're just
trying
to keep. Yeah, neither of you are natural swimmers. He's in dolphin form, so it's really easy for him, and obviously Perry has no problem swimming whatsoever. But yeah, you guys are trying to, like, Aruk, you're like trying to remember what little you know about swimming, because you're not even like generally a pirate or anything, so like swimming is not even close to one of your strong suits. So you're like trying to like move water past you, trying to swim. You're not doing it very not graceful at all. as you're like trying to swim, you're just really grabbing rocks and moving yourself. You're not even really swimming. You're just like grabbing a hold of rocks and just pulling yourself past. And as you guys make your way up into, you make your way up through a couple of chambers, and you come into what looks like a almost like somebody's house. Kind of like somewhere where someone lives. And although it's strangely fitted for those of you land dwellers, it's really not out of the ordinary. And the little girl dashes into one small little chamber within this dwelling, this underwater dwelling, and comes out and produces in her hand 3 seashells. And she, or no, 4 seashells rather, my bad. She produces 4 seashells and she kind of hands them to you. And she says, these might help. And just stick them in your ear.
I take all of them and I put one in my ear and then put my hand out to the rest of them so they know to do the same.
And so yeah, she hands each of one of you this little bitty pink seashell. And you kind of stick it in your ear, and you hear like a... And then, when, Aruk, if you kind of experimentally try to say something, and it comes out in a language... It actually comes out in, like, basically dolphin language. And you guys can all understand it. And you guys can now speak in... clicks. So... When you guys can talk normally, but when you talk, it all sounds like dolphin noises. It just sounds like, ah! you know that you know what I'm saying, yeah. So, and yeah, you just twist this little thing in your ear, and she says, "Yeah, we keep these around because every once in a while, we'll have visitors, diplomats, things of that nature." And she kind of gets bashful. You can kind of tell that she's admitting to doing something she shouldn't have done. She's like, I've taken a couple because every once in a while I like to talk to people. And, you know, you can kind of tell that she seems to be, there's a little bit more to this kid. And she seems to be a little mischievous. And maybe she occasionally interacts with surface dwellers when she knows she shouldn't.
We won't tell.
So, yeah, she hands you guys...
Hi, my name is Aruk.
And she's like, "Hi, Aruk." And she says, "Hi, Aruk. My name is Callie. It's nice to meet you."
I like look down and I'm like, do I hear myself sounding like a dolphin?
Kind of. You understand yourself. It's really weird. It's like, yes, kind of, but also kind of not. It's a weird thing that's happening in your brain. It's almost like you could hear it in the background. Yes, you hear yourself making these noises, but to you it sounds like common. It's very strange. It's a very strange sensation.
I'm just going to look at Perry and be like, bro.
I'm going to shoot him the finger guns and say, "Welcome to the crowd."
Right. Yeah, you've actually, like, you've heard of these little things before, Perry. They're not super common, but it's not something that's completely alien to you. You've heard of little devices like this that underwater people use to communicate with surface dwellers in the very rare occasion that they come underwater. So yeah, she says, well, I can go show you where his lair is, or, I mean, I don't know that there's going to be anybody here that can help you, but we can try.
I'm going to take it as a social norm to shoot finger guns, so I shoot some finger guns at the little girl. I'm going to be like...
I'm like...
Yeah, you're doing great, bud. You're doing great.
I'm like, you have anything to help me swim?
And she says, well, yeah, I already gave it to you. Give it a try.
Okay,
and
I'm gonna try and swim across the room.
Yeah, you're like, just all of a sudden you're kind of a natural. You're not really like flailing your arms anymore. You're kind of like just moving your body in a certain way. Like, and you kind of get the feeling of it, and you feel like you can move through the water much more efficiently now, much easier.
Wow,
Just kind of this very low level magic kind of just gives you.
I'm gonna shoot finger guns at her.
She kind of looks over at Perry, kind of like, is this like a surface dweller custom kind of thing?
And
She kind of has like a little bit of a questioning look at you.
I look at her for a second and I just go.
She kind of looks around and she very like slowly puts up her finger guns.
Get her. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, she puts up her finger guns and points them at you, Aruk, and is like, with like a little bit of an unsure smile.
So I kind of want to play a little bit of a prank on her. When she does that, I want to cast prestidigitation on the tips of her fingers and cause like little sparks to come out.
Okay. Wait, so she does it. She does like this, and then there's little sparks, and she like she kind of brings her hands and like flaps her hands really fast like this, and displaces a bunch of waters around and stuff like that. And she's looking at her hands, and like she just like looking around, and then she like puts her hands behind her back. Like you guys didn't see that, because she has no idea what the fuck that just was.
I'll say it's okay. It always happens the first time.
You'll get used to it.
Yeah. She kind of like, just like meekly like, okay, and she's like, so what do you guys want to do? And then she does the finger guns again and looks at her fingers. Nothing happens.
I think I want to talk to a cleric or somebody if they have one that can teach me a spell.
Okay.
Well, didn't she? Are you still wanting tongues, or you want something else?
Well, no. Since you guys have the seashells, we don't.
Okay, that's what I wanted to make sure.
No.
Okay. And she says, okay. And she leads you guys through some more tunnels and stuff. And eventually she pops you guys out into this, and as you guys are, by the way, as you guys are passing stone, you do see other, like you see some mer people, some tritons, different things like that. Mostly, you see mostly women. Mostly 95% women. And most of them are decorated in a way that is pretty obviously apparent that they're acolytes of Calypso. But eventually she brings you to this room and to this chamber, and inside are a group of clerics, something like clerics. And there's a couple of women, and there's a couple of men, a couple of males, and they're all kind of like standing around each other talking feverishly, just like you can tell they're very stressed out trying to figure out what's going on. And this chamber that you're in is quite large, and as you begin to look around, most of this won't make sense to many of you, but Perry, you immediately kind of get the impression that this is the chamber where the pearl should be. There's a big, massive pedestal that you can see that should hold it. That should hold the pearl and stuff, and they're kind of standing around in this room, and there's all kinds of things carved into the rock celebrating Calypso and telling stories of things she's done, like almost like tapestries and things all around the room. And you see this group of older, very these like elders, these acolyte elders that are standing around talking feverishly in an abyssal tongue, or in a primordial tongue, and only while these seashells allow you guys to speak basically something like common to each other, some of these more ancient abyssal primordial languages, the rest of you can't understand, though Perry can. And you can tell that they're speaking a very, very ancient form of primordial, and you can tell that they're discussing what to do. What are they going to do? And you hear them say, but we only have 3 days. We only have 3 days. And as when you say that, you kind of get a sense like, oh shit, thinking of the time of the year and everything else like that. And you get this very real sense that this is about the time from the stories that you've heard where Calypso wakes up every so often for a very short period of time and then goes back into slumber. And that time is fast approaching. So you also know that Calypso's sleeping and waking cycles go with the moon. So you kind of have a feeling that it has something to do with an eclipse that happens every so many years, and so she's awake for a brief period of time with the eclipse and then goes back into her slumber. Okay. And they're trying to figure out what the fuck to do.
So I kind of interject in their conversation and introduce myself and the rest of the party, and say we've heard of the theft of the Pearl of Calypso, and we'd like to help. However, we need some assistance from your people as well.
They kind of all stop talking and look over at you, and real briefly, there are some differences among the different tribes of Tritons and stuff, and there are, I'm not sure exactly what they would be, but there are different almost accent-like characteristics that differentiate the different tribes. There's some minor physical appearances and things that differentiate the tribes and stuff like that. So they can kind of pretty much immediately tell that you're a northerner, so to speak.
Yeah.
And they kind of look over at you, and they look at the rest of your compatriots. They see a fucking dolphin. They see, you know what I mean? And then they see a half-orc, and they're like, what the fuck? And they immediately turn to you and are like, where did you come from? How did you get down here?
I'm going to be straightforward with him. Tell him, like, we were in some kind of library, landside, and a compatriot of ours opened a tome that filled the room with water, and we got sucked into it, and we woke up in the Temple of Calypso.
When you say this, you hear like one of the older males tries to whisper. Actually, go ahead and make a perception check for me. I want to see if you can hear this whisper.
Perception. 21.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, you hear him, even though he's trying to make it to where you can't hear. He says, "The prophecy, the prophecy." He whispers it twice to the female acolyte standing next to him.
I point a finger at him and say, "Hey, it's rude to whisper in a group conversation. Go ahead and speak up for the rest of us."
He immediately is like totally like fucking hand in the cookie jar caught. Like, you know what I mean? He's like, oh shit. And he says, he kind of startled for a moment, and he kind of shakes it off, and he says, not to be called out by a northerner, because there's a little bit of the best I can describe is almost like a military branch to military branch rivalry. There's love and respect and camaraderie that's deep down in there, but on the surface is a lot of like, nah, fuck you. And so he, not to be called out by a northerner, he kind of like readjusts himself and sticks his chest out and is like, all I said was that your story reminded me of an ancient prophecy.
I mean, if we're gonna have a problem with the fact that I'm from the north, we can just leave, and I'll let Calypso deal with you guys as you see fit, or as she sees fit. I mean, it's you guys dropped the ball, or the pearl, I guess I should say.
At this dude, like, Tritons don't generally blush and flush and turn red. They are not, their bodies aren't set up to react that way, but you can see, he is not okay with you talking to him this way. But some of the others find it funny. Some of the others, so you kind of get this sense that this dude is a little bit of a prick, and not everybody's 100% really like they tolerate him, and he's not a bad person, but they don't really like him that much.
Yeah.
And so they're all kind of a little tickled to hear somebody talk to him like this. At this point, somebody, one of the females, steps forward almost in front of him and says, Now is not the time to argue on petty differences between North and South. Calypso is a goddess to us all, and we should work together.
I'm gonna soil his pants with prestidigitation.
Oh boy.
So he cast prestidigitation, and all of a sudden, this, like, kind of slight green cloud
Discolored
begins
water,
to...
just kind of like...
Yeah, discolored water around it. And everybody, like, oh, and they kind of, like, glide away from him, and he's like, what? At first, and then looks down and notices it, and just flees. At this point, he just leaves the room. He just swims the fuck out of there, leaving a nasty little green cloud behind him as he disappears.
Good, fuck that guy.
And the female turns back to you and says, any help would be greatly appreciated, because it is not just those who dwell underwater that could potentially suffer the consequences and face the wrath of Calypso, but many land dwellers as well. And she says, anything that we can do to help you help us, we will.
What is this prophecy that he spoke of?
There's an old prophecy passed down from times long forgotten about a group of surface dwellers that will come down to save us in just such a situation as this. Most of us thought it to be an old tale, but you're here. And while you aren't a surface dweller, your compatriots are. And it seems that you have spent quite a bit of time on the surface. So there just seems to be some similarities with the prophecy. The prophecy says that you will come, and that surface dwellers will come and save us from exactly this, from Calypso's pearl being taken, and that you will be granted a great boon by the goddess when she awakens.
Am I able to tell if she's leaving any details out?
So you've never heard of this prophecy before, but you get the sense that anything she's leaving out is trivial, that it's stuff that doesn't really matter, but she is just giving you the basics, like, to understand it without getting into the minutia of kind of pointless little shit that doesn't necessarily matter.
Right, okay. Cool. I want to ask her if she has seen Jack.
She says, you give her his description and everything, and she's like, no, only you. You are the only outsiders we've seen.
Okay. I'll look to the party and see if there's anything that they want to ask. As far as I'm concerned, I guess I'm ready for the most part to take this on.
Yeah. I think we just need a little bit more info on what happened, maybe, but
Good.
We're so you kind of ask her what happened, and, like, honestly, we're not certain exactly how. We don't know. We don't know how he got in here. We don't know how he was able to even fit in here, to get through the tunnels to get in here to the inner sanctum. We have no idea. But we came just this morning, and when we all awoken, it was gone. But he's been ravaging things and killing and taking some of our younger people and more defenseless people, and terrorizing us for weeks now. And so we assume that it was him. It could be no one else. No one else would dare anger Calypso.
Mm. Okay. And how do you know exactly
Alex?
where we need to go get it?
Well, some of our scouts have spotted, have followed him in previous times where he's raided us and attacked, and we have found out exactly where his lair is.
Okay.
So I'm gonna ask, like, whenever you say this morning, like, how early? How long ago?
Maybe less than 8 hours. Less than 8 hours since this happened. It was just
I'm gonna
here.
shoot finger guns and then swim over to Perry.
They all like
and whisper.
look like, what the fuck is that?
Whisper in his ear, be like, "Yo, what if it was Calico Jack?"
Very well could have been.
And then I'm gonna shoot finger guns back at him, and then like kind of just chill.
they like what the fuck is this? But the young mer girl pops out and she's getting into it now. She's like,
right back to her. Yeah.
May.
Okay. I want to ask if they have any kind of spell scrolls or anything along those lines that I can use to help with I'm guessing battle.
Well, we have some. You're welcome to look through them. And she kind of leads you over. So real quick to kind of speed this up, is there anything in particular you're looking for?
Yeah. There's a spell, Stun Seed. It let me get the description pulled up here real quick. Stuns creature for 1 second when read backwards.
Okay, so is it like is it called Stun Seed?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure. So you find a scroll that's very similar to it. But let's say it's called something like, hold on a second. It's called something like I don't know, it's called something else. It's like, just think of it like an underwater version of it. But yeah, there's something very, very similar. So yeah, go ahead. Yeah, you find this scroll that you can learn. Oh, damn. That you can learn that particular spell with. Most of the rest of the stuff is just some underwater magic kind of stuff, different things that you kind of already know how to do. Nothing too crazy.
Okay.
Is there anything else?
No, I don't think so.
Is there anything else?
No, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good too.
Oh shit, I guess I can't hear you guys.
I'm good too.
Finger guns.
Say something.
Hello?
I'm good.
Hello?
Yeah,
I
can
can't
you
hear
hear
any
us?
of you guys. Hold up.
Oh, okay.
Fuck. I was hoping he was gonna catch that.
I know.
I can hear you guys now. Can you hear me?
Oh.
Yeah. Yep.
Just my headphones were being weird. As soon as I unplugged, I could hear you guys.
Out of game real quick.
So hey Nick, whenever you took your headphones off, did you perhaps roll your volume down?
I don't think so. I may have, but
stun
I can
seed
try.
backwards is D's nuts.
Yeah.
That's no. I didn't catch that at all. I did not catch that at all. Sorry, I was trying to think of like. I was like, I've never even heard of that fucking spell before. I was like literally trying to brainstorm. I didn't think you were gonna got me with it. All right, let's try this one again.
Fuck.
That's how I
Can you
feel
hear
every
me?
time you cock block me, Matthew.
Yeah.
How can I
All right, I
cock
can
block
hear you guys
live
again.
7 hours away
You rolled
from
it.
me?
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
You rolled it, didn't you?
I think so. I might have, yeah. So, all right. So if there's nothing else, then yeah, she says, yeah, we can. Basically, tells you that they can show you where this lair is, and asks if there's anything else that the rest of you need or any other way that they can provide assistance.
Men, if you have it.
She says, unfortunately, we don't have many, though I can send what we do have with you.
Do you guys have gyms?
Gyms.
Yeah, gyms.
Kind of gives you like a look, like,
We need
and then
gym
looks
power.
over towards Perry to translate what a gym is.
I got a really intricate description as to how a gym is a slang term on the high seas for crewmen, and they work hard for little money and
Loyal.
very loyal.
She says, well, unfortunately, it would seem that many
I mean,
of
we'll even
the
take a John or two if you have them. It
below
doesn't have to be Jim.
below surface dwellers aren't quite as willing to do much for little. But we do have some young hunters and things like that that we can send with you. And she kind of sends word, and one of the acolytes leaves the room, and a few moments later comes back with 4 relatively young but not super young strapping Triton males who are kind of all armed with tridents. You get the sense that they don't have much. The only real skill is hunting and stuff like that, but they don't really have much of any fighting prowess, but it's what they've got.
Cool.
I think the land dwellers are the ones that we're going to need to give. Is there any more, I guess, crutches we can give them?
Yeah.
She kind of thinks for a moment, and she says, not that I can think of. I will say, though, for Zezel and Aruk, the two of you that rely the most on like hand-to-hand combat to do your damage and stuff like that, with those little sea sails that you have in your ears, you're able to basically move through water as if you're not in water, essentially. So you'll be able to move as efficiently as water dwellers do underwater, as well as being able to hear and understand and speak to other underwater creatures. So it's not really giving you necessarily a boost from your normal things. It's just making up for the massive deficits you would have being underwater otherwise.
Sweet.
So basically puts you right back to being just as effective as you would be on land. With your ability to move and communicate. So
Do we know the serpent's name? I want to ask her if she knows what the name of the serpent is.
No, that's one bit of information we have yet to learn.
Okay.
So she says, if there's nothing else, time is of the essence. We have only 3 days. So, with the 4 Tritons in tow and the small merchild leading the way, they lead you out of this structure through a series of tunnels and through chambers and things like that until you come to almost like a grand, almost like entrance cavern that's been built here and out into the open ocean. As you guys exit out of this large mouth cave that seems to be the main way in and out of this massive complex built into the rock underwater, you are in. So think of kind of like if the Grand Canyon was underwater, and you know how there's those really ancient like cities that those Native Americans built into the side of the Grand Canyon and stuff like that. That's essentially what you're at. So you come out like into the, like you're kind of floating out in this very deep chasm. And if you look up, you can almost just barely see the littlest glimmer of light coming from the surface, but you can tell you're very deep underwater, like very thousands of feet underwater. And the surface is nothing but the distant sky to you. But across this dark, yawning chasm, you can see another, off in the distance. You can see basically the other wall to this Grand Canyon, so to speak, that you guys are in. You see this brave little mergirl. She's just swimming out into the deep dark, just straight towards that other wall. So,
Right. I'm gonna follow.
Yep.
So,
why?
Go ahead.
I was gonna ask, why is the little girl leading us into battle?
You kind of get the sense that this little girl is not really like, she's really good at going unnoticed, and you don't even think that the clerics and stuff, the acolytes that you were talking to, even really, with the exception of the finger guns thing, which kind of caught them off guard, and the kind of everything kind of resumed. But she kind of almost has been sneaking around and kind of snuck out with you guys, opposed to necessarily has been tasked with leading the way. She just seems to have taken a liking to you guys and is just kind of hanging out with you. Though she did say before that she'll show you the way, but doesn't want to go actually in there and see this big serpent up close.
Okay. Yeah, I just thought it was weird. It doesn't seem like the place for
a child. Yeah.
Yeah.
Side note.
So,
every time you've noticed 3 days, like every time you've mentioned that, all I can think of is in Spider-Man 1. I got you for 3 whole minutes.
What?
Whenever, I don't know what the fuck his name is, but it's just been playing in my head.
Oh,
So
I don't even think I heard you.
the Randy Savage knockoff.
Yeah.
I gotta look him up. Hang on.
Yeah, what was his name in that movie? The Macho Man Randy Savage. Yeah, because wasn't it Macho Man that actually played him in there? If I can't remember.
Oh, okay.
Bonesaw.
In Spider-Man 1.
The Bonesaw. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So, but anyways, so it takes a long time. You don't know exactly. Most of you can't really. I have a hard time telling time, like getting a sense of time underwater. Though, Perry, you would have a pretty good. It takes 6 hours to cross this chasm, swimming even as fast as you guys can swim. It's taking quite a while to get across this chasm. This chasm is great and wide. But eventually, as you guys make it across the chasm, you get maybe a couple of 100 yards from the other wall, and the small merchild in front of you stops and turns around and says, I really don't want to get any closer, but she points, and she said, and you see this massive, kind of almost looks like a tunnel that's been burrowed into the side of the rock, and she says, that's where I seen him go in. He comes out there too sometimes, but sometimes I think he comes out other places, but I've seen him go in there. And she points into this big chasm, and she says, and she basically wishes you guys the best of luck and says, that she'll be waiting for you guys to return. And yeah, so you guys begin to swim ahead towards this big open tunnel that's been burrowed into the side of the rock, and you get the sense that these Tritons that have been sent with you, these 4 Tritons, are fucking scared shitless. I mean, they're young. They're just barely men, so to speak, and yeah, they're
Gyms
scared.
Are better.
Gyms are better. Gyms don't give no fuck though. Gyms are just in it for the glory. For the glory and the loot. So, anyways, so yeah, you guys make your way towards the mouth, and as you guys approach, you smell this foulness in the water as you approach this cave. And Perry, this is a smell that you mildly recognize. You have not had any real daring personal encounters with any massive underwater sea things, but you've been in caves that smelled like this before, and or been near them. You recognize the smell, and you get the sense that whatever this thing is exactly, like, you've heard of these sea serpents and things before and everything, but you get this, I don't know, you get this feeling of just, this thing is fucking evil. Like, this is a bad motherfucker that you're about to go fuck with. And yeah, you guys enter into the tunnel. You make your way through a few winds and turns, and as you guys are going through this tunnel, you do get this very impression that this has been burrowed out of the rock. Whatever the fuck. What?
You do.
Did I say doo-doo?
Why didn't you put that in the fucking chat?
I can. We're chatting back and forth.
You gotta drop that in there.
Yeah, I'm going to.
Like, you should have dropped that in there like 20 minutes ago.
What is it? Nice. Okay, so as you guys are making your way through this tunnel, you get the very real sense that this thing is this creature has possibly burrowed this rock out and created this cave. But after a while, you see that the cave, kind of this tunnel, opens up and into this big cavernous room. And you guys are now standing at the entrance to this big cavernous room. Go ahead and make me some perception checks.
19.
19.
Alright, so I have a couple questions. I got a 6, but...
23.
You get no. If you got a 6, you get no questions.
So I have blind sight and like, I'm still a dolphin, so I guess I only get a +3, but I don't know what blind sight is for this encounter.
Blind sight. Okay, so like, hold on, let me look blind sight up again. Do you have the description handy?
A creature with blind sight can perceive its surroundings without relying on sight within a specific radius.
Oh,
okay.
Okay, so yeah, I would say then, yeah, you can go have advantage on that perception check then.
Okay.
With your...
Yeah, I've just been meaning that, and that was... It didn't even turn over, it just spun. Still 6.
I rolled in that one. I'm just.
Oh shit! Yeah,
this whole session for
Zessel's
whatever
like,
reason.
yeah, Zessel's just like, he's like, guys, I'm out of my element here. So yeah, but with your what'd you get, Eric, on your perception?
23.
23. So with the 23 and the 19, the two of you immediately are pretty much. It's pretty apparent that you are that this is where this creature sleeps, but you don't see it. You don't necessarily see it, but you see its horde basically. Though it's not your typical dragon horde necessarily. It's not just like gold and shit like that. There's quite a few things. There's a lot of bones. There's a lot of bones. Dead and ripped up tritons and merfolk and bones of all different varieties of sea life and things like that where it's been eating. And you see there are some treasures. There are some different like statues and all different manner of strange things that this beast has collected. Though it, by the size of its horde, you do get the feeling that it's not been doing this for as long as some others may have. It doesn't have a great massive horde just yet. What you can't see is the serpent or the pearl.
Okay. I'll call out for Calico Jack.
Okay, so you out for Calico Jack, and you hear you hear your echoes of the thing kind of carrying through the water and stuff, and kind of bouncing back to you sonar style, the way that dolphins communicate, and then it goes quiet, and you hear no response.
I guess I'm gonna start looking for the pearl.
Okay, so are you guys gonna just venture out into the room then, and start just looking around? All right, everybody, go ahead and start roll me investigation as you guys enter into this room and begin to start searching around for this fucking. Yeah, sorry
18.
about that.
I rolled a
18.
5. Hey, just a
Okay.
question, since I got trash rolls today. If Zezel dies, does he die for real?
We'll have to see.
I got a feeling with how my rolls are going today, this is gonna be the day that Dezel fucking bites him.
Zezel fucking finally kicks the old bucket.
12.
12. You guys aren't really having much luck, but you had a 19, right, Uruk? Is that what you said you had? I think you had the best
18.
invest. 18. Yeah, I don't even think Venkin told me what his was, but by the look on his face, it wasn't good. Yeah, yeah, 4. So the rest of you aren't really having much luck, but Uruk, you find like this dope ass trident, like in this fucking pile of shit. You find this like, I mean, this thing's fucking cool. Like, think like Aquaman's trident. This thing is like hella dope. It's really fucking cool. It's like 8 feet long and shit. And yeah, it's a big motherfucker. Yeah, okay. So yeah, you pick up this trident and you're like looking at it. And the rest of you kind of look over and notice that Uruk is kind of not really standing, I guess, kind of floating around this pile of shit. And he like pulls this fucking big ass trident up out of this pile and is like looking at it, and he's like, "Fuck yeah!" And as you guys are kind of like looking over at Uruk and like, "Oh shit, that is a dope trident," you feel like and the whole fucking cave shakes. You like that?
Yeah.
As the whole cavern begins to shake, and you hear a low rumble of almost like an exhale of breath, and a voice that carries through the water and says, "Who dares disturb my lair?"
Captain Zezel in my kid voice.
Sorry, sir. It's just me, Captain Zezel. May I have some more? And as you say that, you just hear this deep rumbling laugh, and then
As soon as I say that, can I stealth somewhere?
yeah, absolutely roll stealth.
Fuck, man.
Is this in the same room as us?
Yeah.
I rolled a 13. I rolled a 3, but I get a plus 10. But
With a 13, you try. You think you have hidden yourself pretty well.
I'm changing my
but
dice.
new D20 time. So as Captain Zezel says this, and he kind of tries to rapidly swim behind a rock and kind of cover himself with some shit that's laying around. You see the head of this massive serpent fucking just through one of the many tunnels that's in the ceiling of this thing, kind of down, and he's kind of partially out of it while part of his body is still up in the tunnel, and he kind of like turns his head around and looks at the lot of you standing around his shit. His head is like circumference of his body, he's is bigger around than a bus. Like he's just this massive sea serpent. His head is reminiscent of like a viper mixed with a snapping turtle, and he has this long, sharp, almost beak that comes down off the front of his lip. Like something made of like some hardened like chitin, and he's got like these armored plates that go up his head and these spines that run down his back, and he's like this just black color that's almost black, so black that the light almost doesn't even any light almost wouldn't reflect off of his scales. You can barely make out his individual scales. He's just so like the color of him is just so deeply black. And he as he like enters into the room and he kind of like looks around, he spots you, Aruk, standing there with the fucking trident, and he opens his mouth and fucking and this fucking gut, like this geyser of fucking like water, like it just basically forces the water, and I need you to make a dexterity saving throw, Aruk.
Bet.
As a reaction, as soon as he attacks, or the first chance I get, I'd like to cast Water Walk.
I rolled a 14.
A 14. You aren't able to get out of the way quite quickly enough, and but you do get some part of the way out of the way, and you're blown off to the side as this geyser hits you, and you're gonna take. Hold on, let me just dump my dice out real quick. Oh fuck! I just pulled out one of my D4. Look at this shit. Somehow the fucking tip broke off of my fucking D4. What the hell? But you end up taking.
Like I'm picking up a lot of dice there.
24 points of bludgeoning damage as you're kind of fucking hit with this gust of water and thrown 15 feet to the side. And at that point, let's roll some initiative, guys.
Ooh, nat 20, baby.
Nice. Give me just a second. Let me get. I'm gonna use roll 20 here. If you guys want to hop into roll 20, we can use we can use this battle map if you guys like. That way I can keep track of turn order. Oh shit, come on now. There we go. Add turn. Add turn. Oh, not supposed to be there. Add turn. Add turn. Do 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 do.
So still in pirate mashup.
Yeah.
Shit. Here we go.
Oh,
I'll
he a
just
big
use
guy.
these guys. Oh no. Stop it. Where'd you go? There you go. These other 4 tokens I'm dropping in here. These are your fucking Triton guys. I don't have a thing for these Tritons. So you're kind of off somewhere hiding. I don't have an updated token for you, Aruk. I only have Red's token, so you've got Red's token here. But all right, let me got all you guys in here. All right, so Perry, you got a 20 plus what?
2.
22. Okay. And then what was the rest of you guys's?
Now 1.
You got that
15.
one.
Fuck.
That's a 15 total, Eric?
Yeah.
Okay. And so what was yours after the nat 1? What's your modifier that adds to that?
Just 1, so 2.
2. Okay, shit. And then
17.
17. Oops. Okay. I don't know why there's multiples of y'all. Okay. All right. And then... Okay, so let me roll for these tribal guys real quick for your homies. And then for the big dude. Okay. All right. So, at the top, and then you, and da-da. All right. So, starting off the turn order, it is going to be Perry's turn.
Okay. Let's see here. First thing, fuck it. Let's go ahead and cast Ralathim's Psychic Lance. Unleash a shimmering lance of psychic power from your forehead at a creature that you can see within range. Target must make an intelligence saving throw.
Oh, intelligence saving throw. Interesting. All right. Oh shit. Okay. All right. So that is a 12.
That fails.
All
Target
right.
takes 7d6 psychic damage.
Nice.
That is 10, 17, 18, 19, 20 psychic damage, and is incapacitated until the start of my next turn.
Damn. 20 psychic damage. All right. Okay. So 20 psychic damage. Hold on. Let me grab my fucking...
Hey Nick, real quick, what is the stats for this fucking trident?
So it is a it's a 1d12 plus 3 weapon.
Okay.
Strength. No, because it's two-handed, it's a versatile. So you could use strength or dexterity, depending on what you're better at.
Got it.
Okay, so he is incapacitated until your next turn, you said?
Yes, incapacitated until the start of my next turn.
Okay. Okay. All right. So then that's gonna bring it around. Hold on a second here. I want to see if it's resistant to being incapacitated really quick. Yeah, okay, so it is not incapacitated, but it does have a legendary resistance. It chooses to, if it fails the saving throw, it can choose to succeed, though it has a limited number of these.
Okay.
So it chooses to succeed
Which
on
means...
this saving throw.
Okay, so on a save, half damage and is not incapacitated.
Okay. All right. So hold on a second. Let me. All right. Okay. So 10 damage. Alrighty. That's gonna bring it around to the ancient serpent's turn. It is going to use. Sorry, there's a lot of shit to get through. All right. So as it's going to take a bite at you, Perry. It's going to move its head around and it's going to take a bite at you and at Venkin and then one of the boys. So that is going to be. Let's see, make its attack. For Perry, it is a. That is a 17 to hit.
Hits.
Hits. Okay, and then for Venkin, that's a natural 20. And then that's also a hit. That's a natural 18 for those dudes. So that is going to turn into. Let me calculate this damage here. Okay. That is going to be 29 points of piercing damage to the Triton and to Perry, and then that is going to be 49 piercing damage to Venkin as it just flashes and it just takes just rapidly boom, 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 just strikes with the speed of a serpent even underwater, and bites all three of you. The Triton, as it's bit, the Triton just son of a bitch, wrong button. The Triton that it bites just and it fucking, you see blood and everything, and it kind of tosses it up and catches it again in its mouth and just and fucking swallows the Triton.
Jeez.
And yeah. And that is gonna make it Zezel's turn.
Alrighty. It's not a good idea to probably melee this fucking thing, is it?
I mean, you could absolutely certainly try. With your stealth and stuff, you could try to sneak up on it. It does have enemies or your allies are within 5 feet of it, and so you could try to flank it and get a melee attack on it. It's within your movement speed to be able to reach it.
If I move, will I still be within sneak attack distance?
Yeah. So because it has your allies are within 5 feet of it, yeah, you can get your sneak attack damage if you try to melee attack it.
Okay. Then yeah, I'm gonna stealth up to it and hit it with this elven dagger.
Okay, first stealth, second attack.
Oh, thank God. 29.
Yeah, you are able to fucking just casually, just real fucking stealth-like sneak up to it, and you get up on its kind of its blind side, just behind its head.
Sweet. And then my attack is going to be 26.
26 to hit. That hits. That hits. What's your damage?
34 points of damage.
Nice. All right. So as you kind of swim up to it, you're able to and bury the dagger. You're able to find a place between scales, and you shove it in as hard as you can, and kind of give it a twist, and then pull it out. And it kind of roars a little bit and kind of tries to fling you away, but you're already stuck in move. So you get just out of its way.
Bonus action, can I try to stealth away from him?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
I'd hate to get swallowed whole by this motherfucker. 22.
Yeah, you're able to stealth away. All right. That's going to bring it around to Uruk.
Alright. I'm gonna take this big ass trident and try and shove it up underneath its jaw.
Okay, yeah, going for the throat. Gotcha. So on that's a +3 to hit, +3 to attack, +3 to damage.
Okay,
On that trident.
got it. Alright. That is going to be a 22.
22 hits. 22 hits, yeah, as you kind of, while it's distracted, kind of looking around for whatever stuck it in the back of its neck, you come up right up underneath it and shove your trident up into like its under chin throat area. What's the damage on that?
15.
15 points of damage. All right. Very nice. Okay,
And
so
I'm gonna do another stab at it.
yeah, get after it. Go ahead and however many attacks you have. If you guys have any of you guys have multiple attacks and stuff like that, just do them all at once. Just roll your 2 or 3 attacks or whatever you got. Just go ahead and just roll them consecutively, and then give me the 2 hits, 3 hits, whatever it would be.
Okay, 19, and does that hit?
19 does hit, yeah.
And then that is going to be another 15 damage.
Another 15. Gotcha. Okay.
That's it.
Okay. Okay. Alrighty. So then that is going to bring it around to the 3 remaining Tritons, as they are absolutely terrified after seeing their fellow gobbled up and swallowed by this sea serpent, and are going to kind of stick together as they kind of begin to move around you guys and make their way up as a threesome to try to attack this thing, thinking that if all 3 of them are together, they'll be safe. And they all make it up to the dragon, and each of them takes an attack. Alright, I got a 5, an 8, and a 2. So all 3 of them make very puny and very almost shameful attacks, trying to stab at this thing with these tridents that they have. And they're just kind of tinking off of its armor. And it is going to use one of its legendary actions at this and take a swipe at them with its tail. And they all have to make dexterity saving throws. 2 succeed, 1 does not, and takes the full brunt of the tail, which ends up being... Ooh, we got lucky. Only 20 points of bludgeoning damage, as you see the tail smack the shit out of one of these Tritons that isn't able to get out of the way quick enough, and he's kind of thrown 15 or 20 feet and kind of hits a pile of shit and just kind of floats there for a second, like clutching his head and his hands over his face. All right, that will then bring it around to Finkin. Your turn.
You said he's wearing metal armor, right?
The serpent, he's plated and like he's not necessarily wearing armor, but he's like has like a natural armor to him.
Oh, but it's not metal then.
You don't know. You don't think so, but you have no idea.
Okay. Then we will just cast Blight.
Okay.
Let me see. It's a con save throw, 8d8.
Okay.
Hang on. Because he takes more if he's already taken damage, right?
Blight. I'm not sure.
Wait, hang on.
He says a
no, wait. That's another spell. That's another spell. I'm sorry. 8d8. So my save is 14.
So I have to beat a 14?
Yeah.
Okay. That is an 18 total.
Alright, so he takes 16, it looks like, yeah.
Okay. Alright. So
And then I'm gonna try and like create some more distance between me and the rest of the party so he can't necessarily just hit all of us one swipe like he did last time.
Okay. So you're gonna try to move away a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't move it, but yeah, just give us some distance, I guess.
Okay, here we go. Hold on. Give me just 1 second here. I forgot to give me just 1 second here.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, you can. Let me go through.
Yeah, I just moved it.
Let you guys all move your shit. I forgot to add that in there. Just kind of had to throw all this battle map thing last second because my fucking shit wasn't working. And then. Okay, so you guys should all be able to control your tokens now. Okay. All right, so yeah, you create some more distance, and that is going to bring it around to Perry. It is your turn, sir.
All right, I am going to cast the Mind Sliver cantrip. Drive a disorienting spike of psychic energy into the mind of one creature you can see within range. Target must succeed on an intelligence save, or take 1d6 damage and subtract 1d4 from the next saving throw it makes.
Okay. Alrighty, so that is a nat 20 on his saving throw.
Alright. I'm going to spend 2 sorcery points to cast a spell.
Okay.
And I'm going to cast Psychic Lance again, so another intelligence save.
Gotcha. Okay. Alrighty, that is a natural 13 plus. Hold on, let me look back at his shit real quick. I can't remember what his fucking intelligence saving throw was again. So that's a total of 16.
Okay, that's safe, so he's going to take half damage.
Okay.
That is 21 total, so 10.
10 half. Okay. All right. Okay. Alrighty. Is there anything else you can do in your turn, sir?
I want to move as far away from him as I can.
Okay. You can control your guy. Put him. You got 30 feet of swimming speed, I believe. So.
I just put him there.
Okay. All right. Cool. So. All right. That's gonna make the ancient black dragon's turn. So, he's gonna make a bite at you, Aruk. And that is going to be a fuck. Good thing that wasn't a natural 20. That's a fucking 28 to hit. So that hits. And then he's going to take his other attacks. No, he's just going to bite at you. That's going to hit. Let me get that damage real quick. Oh, low rolled. You got lucky. I really, really, really low rolled. 21 points of piercing damage. 21 points of piercing damage, and then I'm gonna need all 3 of the Tritons and Venkin to make dexterity saving throws. As he opens his mouth and shoots this massive gust of water like he did before at Uruk, straight down in a line, hitting all 3 of those and you, Venkin. So let's get, dexterity saving throw.
7.
7, all 4 failures. Fuck. Okay. Shit. So that is going to be... So that's going to be 33 points of bludgeoning damage to all of you, and you're all displaced. Actually, these guys, hold on 1 second. Oh shit, that's right. One of them got fucked up and out of the way, so he actually is still alive. But these 2 down here, they get hit with this blast, and it just, all you see is their bodies just kind of almost lifelessly floating there in the water as they're hit direct. They take a direct hit, these 2 do, with the basically this water cannon, and are floating there limp and unresponsive. You are pushed back about 15 feet by this blast, and you take that 33 points of damage.
And I become lifeless as well.
Does that take you down to 1? Does that take you down to 0?
Oh, that takes me way below 0.
Oh shit. Okay,
What?
so where how far, like, how many total health points do you have?
I'm at negative 30. Wait, hang on. 24, I think. Let me see.
What?
25. Negative 25. Yeah.
You're at negative. How many health points did you start with?
57. And I got that first
Fuck.
net, remember?
Oh shit, that's right. Okay, so yeah, at this point you also too see Venkin floating there, kind of lifeless in the water.
Oh, shit.
And it is now Zezel's turn.
Alrighty. I'm gonna come out from my little hidey hole and stab this motherfucker again.
All right, do your
Okay.
stealth.
28 for stealth.
That hits.
Finally rolling freaking better.
And your attack.
20.
That hits.
Cool. And then is it still sneak
Yes,
attack
Eric.
damage?
Yep, Eric is still up underneath him.
$25 points of damage.
25 points of damage. All right, nice. Okay.
And gonna hide again.
Okay, do your stealth.
Oh, 14.
There you go. You're welcome. 14. You're unable to hide from him again. As you go to turn away, he spots you and is going to take a bite at you. Fuck,
Yeah,
nat
that's
20.
You're about to watch Mezzo get swallowed whole.
With a nat 20, actually, yeah, I'm going to have you make a dexterity saving throw to get out of his jaws once he clamps on you.
Fuck, man.
Yeah, guys, I am rolling hella nat 20s today. I don't know what the fuck the deal is.
Well, I rolled a 3, and with my +7 is a 10.
Shit.
Well, I got a
Okay.
+7, but I rolled a 3, so
Yeah, so I'm fucked. 17. Oh shit. Okay, so that's gonna be 27 points of piercing damage, and yeah, you are in his jaws. Fuck yeah, he's gonna swallow you.
27
You are.
double.
Oh shit. Yeah, I didn't even double the damage. So yeah, that's 50 fucking what? 54. 54 points of piercing damage.
yeah, I was about to say your nat 20 is literally just one shot us. Don't know if you know that.
So yeah, Zezel, everybody you watch as Zezel comes in and stabs this thing in the back of the neck, and as he tries to swim away, it catches him this time and reaches out and bites down on him real hard, and you see a blood just kind of out into the water as he scores a critical hit on your captain, and then swallows the captain.
You dead, Zizzle?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you're what you are now, Zezel, is you are considered basically grappled. And on your next turn, how many health points do you have left?
18.
18. Okay. So you're gonna on your next turn, you'll have a chance to try to fight your way out of its throat. But for now, that's gonna bring it around to Uruk's turn. Uruk, you just watched the captain be swallowed directly, basically in front of you.
Well,
It's your turn.
how beat up is this dude?
You've done some damage to him, but he's still he doesn't look like he's he's necessarily close to being killed.
Fuck. Okay. I am going to I guess attack. I'm going to use my axe and surge, and I'm gonna stab this dude 3 times.
All right, take your 3 attacks.
So I got 1 nat 20,
Nice.
121, and then
That hits as well.
17.
17 does not hit.
Okay, so nat 20 and okay, so I got 2 hits. It's gonna be 68 points of damage.
Nice. Very nice.
That nat 20.
Okay, give me just a second. Let me do the math on that. Okay. Alrighty. So yeah, you're able to just you kind of get up. You're kind of beaten and bloody from when he just bit you, and you take that trident and fucking just trying to stab up at him right at his fucking throat, and you score. The first one kind of chinks off, and you're like, "Fuck that." The second one fucking sinks in deep. You pull it out and deliver that. That last one we'll say that one was the nat 20. You sink it in really nice and give it a fucking twist, and a bit of blood comes out into the water around the trident as you fucking rip it out, and the beast kind of roars up a little bit. And all right, is there anything else you can do on your turn?
Nope.
All right, Venkin, death saving throw.
It's just flat, right?
Flat D20, 10 or higher is a success. 9 or that's a fail. So you have 1 failure. Via 2 more failures, you're permadead. Alrighty, Perry.
Okay. So if I understand this right, Aruk is kind of under the serpent, stabbing
Yeah,
up at it.
he's just underneath it. Yeah.
Okay, so if I were to cast lightning bolt at this creature, would
Water would fuck us.
Water conducts electricity.
Fuck. Okay. All right. Okay, that's fine. Do you have a good Constitution score, Aruk?
Well, considering that water conducts electricity, everyone would have to make this throw.
I'm thinking something else.
Oh, okay.
Constitution? Yeah, I've got a fine Constitution.
Okay. All right. All right. I'm gonna cast Thunder Step.
Okay.
Let's see. Teleport myself to an unoccupied space I can see within range. I'm gonna teleport directly above the serpent.
Okay.
Each creature within 10 feet of space must make a Constitution save.
Okay. All right.
15's the
Finally, you guys are in luck. A nat 1.
Yeah.
A nat 1 from the serpent.
19.
All right, you save.
19 for Rook.
Cool. So you won't take.
I have a +8 to Constitution.
Bitchin'. So it's funny. The serpent has a +13 to Constitution saves. Yeah. So if he'd have gotten damn near anything, he would have succeeded. But he got that nat 1.
That is 33 damage.
Nice. Doubled nat 1. So it's critical failure.
66.
66.
Did I
Very
take
nice.
any? Half at all or anything like that?
No, you save, so you don't take damage.
Great.
And then I'm going to use Quicken Spell and cast... guess I'm going to cast Mind Sliver at him. Let's make another Intelligence save.
Okay. Give me just 1 second here. Intelligence save. Natural 19 for a total of 22.
Okay, yeah, that saves.
Okay.
That will be my turn.
Okay. Alrighty. That will make it the serpent's turn. So he is going to. He's going to kind of rear back. And I'm going to need Aruk and Perry and this last poor Triton to all make Constitution saving throws.
Oh, I just rolled a d6. What the fuck am I doing?
22.
22 that saves.
9.
9 that fails, and the poor Triton got a fucking natural 1. That's 2 nat 1s in a row on this d20, guys. I may have rolled all the nat 20s out of it.
I'm gonna die.
So this motherfucker, this Triton, I'm just gonna call him dead. He's basically insta-deleted. The rest of you are gonna take the so you'll take half of this, Aruk, on your success.
Okay.
You will take the full amount, Perry. That is gonna be 35 points of poison damage as he leans his head back and opens his mouth, and this cloud of poison just out into the water and into this massive radius around you guys.
I'm in death.
So
how does it affect Zezel?
He's just out of the range of it.
Zezel?
Zezel, yeah, up there at the top corner. He's oh
No.
shit. That's right, he is swallowed. That is my bad. So let me think. Mechanically speaking, the poison glands are basically kind of like the venom glands, and so they're up in the roof of his mouth, and so they're just emitted. I would say that you're far enough down his throat that you're not affected by this. But on your turn, you will have to contend with it when you come out of his mouth if you can make it out.
Yeah, you have a bigger fish to fry.
Perry, you're in death saves.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So it's Aruk. Okay. So the next turn up is Zezel. Let's make a.
Can I just stab through his throat? I mean, do I still have water breathing or anything? So I'm like,
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
cool
you're
in here.
stable. Yeah, so go ahead. Well, you are being actively swallowed, so you're trying to fight from being swallowed down further. So let's make a strength saving throw to see if you can kind of not be swallowed further.
Well, does he want to be
Nat
swallowed?
1.
A nat 1, yeah. So you kind of lose your grip. I'll say as a last resort, you can try to use your dagger to stab into his throat. Make an attack.
That was 19 plus 9.
Yeah, that hits. That hits as you're being swallowed down. You kind of get your dagger out and stab it in, and it kind of pulls down. Go ahead and roll your damage.
Is it sneak attack since he technically can't see me?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. So go ahead, get your sneak attack damage. He's not expecting you to stab him in the throat from inside.
$27 points of damage.
27 points of damage. Nice. Okay. As you stab in, a bit of a rush of water comes in, and Rook, you see the barest hint of a little tip of a knife stick out of the chinks in the armor. Zezel, you now have a handhold. You can hold on to this, basically this rip inside of the throat. And I'll actually go ahead and give you one more strength saving throw to see if you can try to fight your way out of this new slit that you've just cut on the inside of this thing's throat.
17.
A 17? I'll say you're able to get one of your arms and your head out, and you're able to fight your way partially out. On your next turn, you'll have to do one more saving throw to see if you can fight your way the rest of the way out.
So wait, my head's sticking out of this.
Yeah, your head and one arm is sticking out of the neck of this thing. Like, you kind of had like displaced one of the scales as you're trying to fight your way out of it.
As soon as my head comes out, I'm gonna say, "Hello, boys."
Here's Johnny. All right, so that is going to be that's all you can do on your turn. So that is going to bring it back around to Aruk.
All right.
You can see Zezel fighting his way out of this serpent's throat.
Would it help more if I just try to make this dude a stoma? Or pull him out?
That's up to you.
I guess with one of my actions, I'm going to try and pull Zezel out.
Okay, so you use one action, make a strength saving throw.
That's a 27.
Yeah, you just grab Zezel and whoop, like Zezel, you are now born out of this thing's fucking throat, covered in blood and mucus and shit. Luckily, you're in the water.
Nice.
And you're just like literally like, basically, Aruk is essentially like a very careless OBGYN that just grabs you by the top of your head and just rips the baby out C-section style. And
this
go ahead.
8 feet long, correct?
What do you mean? What? Your trident? Yes,
trident.
it is 8 feet long. Yeah.
Okay. Through the slit, I'm going to stab through the slit into the top of him, hopefully.
So you're gonna try to like get the trident up into him and stab up into him, like up into the roof of his mouth or something, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead and make your attack roll. I'll say that, considering the situation, make that attack roll.
Huh?
What are you gonna use?
Oh, nothing.
Your inspiration?
No, I have fighting spirit, and that will give me advantage.
Go ahead, do it then.
Okay. Okay, that is going to be a 24. So
24, that hits, yeah.
And that is going to be 19 damage.
19 damage, very nice. Okay. And
then
as you go ahead.
Lastly, I don't know if this is an action, like if I have to use it as an action, but second wind.
No, you can just use
as
it
a bonus.
as
action.
a bonus.
Bonus action, yeah. So I'm
Okay,
gonna use
so
second wind and get some health back.
Cool, do it.
Right.
Okay. All right, so that's gonna make it Venkin. Death save.
10?
10. That succeeds. So you have
Okay.
1 failure, 1 success.
Yep.
Okay. Perry, death save.
Oh, it's a nat 20.
Nice! Back up to 1 health point. Back up to 1 health point as you kind of come back to consciousness, and are like you look around and you're kind of like, oh fuck, and you realize like what's happened. And I'll say, as this happens, as you kind of come back into consciousness, you see Aruk rip Zezel out of the throat of this serpent and shove his trident up into it. It's your turn. You can take your turn.
Fuck. Alright.
He's like, I didn't think I'd get this far.
Yeah, nat 20. That's as lucky as it gets.
Magic missile the fuck out of this dude.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and cast Magic Missile at 3rd level.
Okay, so what? That's 4 bolts.
5.
5 bolts.
3, 4, 5. That is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15.
15, nice. Yeah, as you stand up and outstretch your hand and shoot your 5 dolphin-shaped projectiles straight at this motherfucker, and they just boom, 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 all 5 of them hit. Is there anything else you'd like to do on your turn, sir?
How's he looking? Is he still doing okay?
He looks like he looks a lot more fucked up with this big open bleeding wound in his throat.
Okay.
But he's still got some fight left in him.
All right. Let's use 2 more sorcery points, and I'm gonna cast. Well, can I use Firebolt since we're underwater, or no?
Yeah, I would imagine probably not. As soon as you cast it, the fire would probably be quickly extinguished by the water.
Alright, I guess we'll Mind Sliver again then. Make an
'Kay.
intelligence save.
Intelligence save. Nat 1!
Nice.
On the intelligence save.
So what is it? Am I gonna double the damage then?
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So,
This is a critical failure.
alright, so it's take 1d6 damage and subtract 1d4 from the next saving throw. So that'll be 2d6. That's fucking 6 damage. And then you'll subtract a d4 from the next saving throw.
Okay. Okay.
That'll be my turn.
Okay. Alrighty. So that makes it the Ancient Dragon's turn, and he is going to take a bite at Uruk and Zezel. He's going to take a bite at all 3 of you guys. Nat 1. So that's against Perry. That's the nat 1 against you, so that misses. That is a 9 plus. So that's a fucking 20 to hit Zezel and a fucking 26 to hit Uruk.
I mean, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Okay, so that is going to be... $28 points of piercing damage to the two of you.
Nice.
To Zezel and Aruk. 28 points of
I think
piercing
Zezel's
damage.
out.
I think
28.
Zezel... Yeah. You're down below 0, aren't you, Zezel?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he lashes out and bites at you. He doesn't get a hold of you this time to swallow you, but you immediately go unconscious and are laying there bleeding in the water. Aruk, you also take the bite, and Perry, you're able to dodge this time. What's your health like, Aruk?
I'm at 37.
Okay. All right. That is going to bring it around to Zezel. Death save.
15.
15. That's a success. All right. What the hell?
I think it's Farouk's turn, right?
Yeah. Yep.
My turn
sure
again?
is. Yep.
Okay.
Aruk.
I guess I'm just gonna fucking stibby stab this dude twice.
All right. Take your 2 attacks.
And then I'm gonna use my last 2 fighting spirits.
Okay.
Or 1. I'm gonna use 1 fighting. I can only use 1 per turn. So my first attack is gonna be with advantage.
Okay. Don't you
That's
all have
2
an
natural
inspiration?
20s.
Bitchin'!
I don't know how
Hey!
that fucking happened.
Hey!
So I guess I'm not gonna use my fighting spirit.
Right, yeah, save that bad boy. Yeah, for sure. All right, so yeah, roll your damage for your 2 nat 20s. Hell yeah, son.
What a fucking yeah. Holy shit. That's going to be 68 points of damage.
Nice! Hell yeah. Okay. So, all right. After those attacks, are you keeping your trident inside and just like basically fucking his throat with this trident? Gotcha. Okay. So yeah, you just Perry. You just see Aruk like, oh, fucking. It's like just giving this fucking
I think
this
I'm at 1 hit point. I fucking pass out.
yeah, giving this throat quite the working. Um, um,
No.
so, all right, it is that is gonna bring it around to Venkin, death saving throw.
Oh, it's a nat 1.
That's 2
No.
failures. Venkin,
Yep.
Perry, you get this sense, just this sick feeling in your stomach as something tells you to look over as you see the last few kind of bubbles of breath leave Venkin's body, and you just get this sick feeling that your friend is no longer with you. Venkin is dead. Okay, so Perry, your turn.
Fuck.
This is what you bastards get for killing my fucking Tarask so easily.
I was honestly just thinking about it. I was like, he's tired of us killing his big bad, so he's finally got one that's gonna kick our asses.
Alright, I'm gonna magic missile at 3rd level again.
Okay.
That's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15 more damage.
Okay.
Still alive.
Yeah, he's still alive.
Yeah, let's Mind Sliver again, I guess, with my last 2
Okay.
sorcery points.
That is going to be a 6.
Okay. So it's going to be a d6 of damage, and you're going to subtract 4 from your next saving throw, which that's 1.
So actually just subtracting the 4 would make it a 2. But yeah, okay. So then do those accumulate? So it'll be 2d4 next time? Or is that 1?
Like on your next saving throw, no matter who it's against, you have to subtract 4 from it. Or a d4.
Okay, cool. Okay, so they don't stack. Okay.
No.
All right. Okay, so he's still got the minus the d4 on his next save. So okay. Is there anything else you can do on your turn, sir?
Nothing I can do.
Okay. So shit. All right, that makes it the serpent's turn. He's going to take a bite at each of you. At fucking Uruk and at Perry. So that is going to be fucking a 13 to hit against Uruk and a 12 to hit against Perry.
12 hits, so I'm in death saves.
Fuck. Okay. All right. So let me give you your damage.
As long as
Damn, dude, you got a squishy ass AC, bro.
It's 12. Yeah, I know.
All right. Let's see here. So we've got. Oh shit. 33 points of piercing damage.
All right.
As he rips into you and you're now floating in the water once again, bleeding out. Okay. Zezel, another death save.
16.
2 successes. All right, Uruk.
All right. Yeah. I'm gonna fucking stibbity stab this dude.
keep throat fucking him. All right.
Just keep stabbing.
Take your 2 attacks.
Not so hot. That is a 18 and a 16.
Both miss. Both
Damn.
miss as you as he reaches over to bite Perry. The trident comes out of the throat hole, and you go to try to stab at him again, and you're unable to get any purchase the second time. Well, Venkin is dead, so that brings it back around to Perry. Death save.
It's a nat 1.
Nat 1.
2 death saving throws, so you have 2 failures. All right. So that is going to bring it back around to the ancient black fucking serpent's turn. So he is going to rear back at you, Uruk being the only one left, and he is going to open his maw, and you begin to see the water boiling slightly in his throat as he issues forth this massive gout of water. Make a dexterity saving throw.
That is going to be a 16.
16 is a success, so you're going to take half damage on that. Well, fucking hell. Still rolled high as shit on the fucking dice. Yeah, so that's 18 points of bludgeoning damage as you're pushed back 15 feet.
Okay.
Okay. So that is going to be fucking Zezel. Death saving throw, sir.
5.
That's a failure. So you have 2 successes, 1 failure. You did. So Perry, death saving throw.
All right, come on, 10 or higher. Fuck, that's a 5. I'm dead.
As Aruk, you look over and see Perry issue forth the last small bubbles of breath as the light leaves his eyes and he floats slowly to the bottom and comes to rest on a pile of rubble. The dragon looks at you and laughs and says, "You thought you could defeat the mighty Kalshazak." And his head fucking looms once again as he lashes out at you for a
I
bite.
thought it was my turn. My turn.
No, it was just Perry's turn. I had Perry, and then the serpent.
Oh fuck. Okay.
Yeah.
Shit. All right.
And he lashes out at you to bite, but at the very last second, a darting form comes in and pushes you out of the way, grabs you and moves you out of the way of the bite. And you see the small mermaid girl, Callie. She's kind of swam past you and grabbed a hold of you and tugged you out of the way and screamed, "No!" as she's done so and pulls you out of the way. And when she does, this super massive, like insanely bright light just kind of like completely wipes out your vision for a moment. And as after a few moments pass, you have no idea how long, you open your eyes and the serpent is laying on the floor of this cavern. Doesn't seem to be dead, but looks completely stunned. Is kind of like twitching and flopping around and like moving its jaw. And she looks at you and says, "We've got to get out of here before he wakes up." What are you gonna do?
How big are his eyeballs?
What?
Bigger than
Like
basketball?
man size?
Like bigger than a basketball?
Okay.
Big as fuck.
Bigger than. Okay.
Like maybe beach ball size.
Well,
I mean, he's pretty fucking big. He's big enough to swallow a motherfucker, so like, good sized.
okay, he looks pretty fucked up, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's like kind of twitching, and you get the sense that that light, whatever it was, just he's not used to seeing light at all, and so he's just like basically seizing out over it. Think epileptic seizure style.
So like the only one that's still alive is
You.
Zezel.
Well, you don't know. Yeah, you see all of your compatriots all floating around, fucking blood in the water, kind of thing.
Nah, I'm gonna go fucking stab my trident in this dude's eye.
Okay. Since he is on the ground and defenseless, that's basically like, automatically, it's basically like automatically gives you advantage because he's down. He's down and technically like prone, so that gives you advantage automatically on your attacks.
All right. That's a nat 20 and a 24.
Yeah, they
25.
both hit.
So
They both hit.
that kind of sucked. 7 plus 42 damage.
42 damage. Nice. Yeah, as you stab into... Are you stabbing at his eyeball? Yeah, you fucking stab into his eye, and the eye just is a fucking bloodied mess. Absolutely nothing left. It flops and flails a little bit, and you can see that he's starting to come, like, he's like, and there's blood everywhere. I'll give you one more attack before he begins to wake up. And it was also with advantage.
I don't know if this fucking app is fucked up, but
Another nat 20? Hey, it's a nat 20. Roll your double damage.
okay, so it's gonna be 20 damage.
20 damage total. All right. As you stab in, are you going to stab into the same eye? Are you going to a different eye? What are you doing?
The other eye, if I can.
Yeah. So you kind of swim around to his other side of his head, and shove your fucking trident in the head. And as you do, the creature recoils and begins to start flopping around. If you've ever cut the head off of a snake in real life, and you've seen what their body does, it begins to kind of wiggle and coil up, and kind of as its jaw unhinges to like almost an like ungodly angle, to where his head is almost completely like open as it's basically in its death throes. And it like lays over on its side, and all kinds of shit starts spilling out of its mouth. It starts like there's some rocks at first, and then like some pieces of treasure and all kinds of things come fucking flooding out. And as it almost seems to be done, like no more stuff is coming out, you see a little piece of wood, and then another piece of wood, and then you realize they look like peg legs, as out of the throat of this serpent comes sliding Calico Jack, clutching this big fucking pearl to his chest, completely unconscious, as he's born out of the throat of this dead serpent, and is just like, and just lays there in this pile of bullshit, clutching this pearl, completely unconscious, and almost seems to be also like unconscious, or perhaps even dead.
Okay. I'm gonna go check on Zezel real quick.
Actually, while this is all going on, Zezel, I'll need you to make one final death saving throw.
15.
A success. That's 3 successes. As you go to check on Zezel, you see the captain is like, he's not dead, he's not conscious, but he is he's stable. Okay. But he does need immediate medical attention. However, he is stable.
Okay.
As you go around and check on the rest of your compatriots, Perry is deceased, Venkin deceased, the Triton's deceased.
Okay, what about Calico Jack?
Calico Jack, you check on him, and he is also deceased.
Okay. I'm gonna turn to the little girl and be like, hold the fucking pearl, and be like, you think Calypso could bring my friends back?
She kind of looks at you. You can tell she's crying. She's very upset. And she says, I hope. Let's bring them. And I'll say that you, you get their bodies. In the water, considering...
Zezel.
Yeah, she's helping drag along, and as you guys it takes quite a bit of time. But you drag their bodies out of the cave and across the chasm, and eventually, after hours of swimming, with you having to take breaks and stuff like that, you finally make your way back into the structure and back into the temple of Calypso. And as you return, the acolytes they surround you as you drag the corpses of your compatriots, your fallen compatriots, into this chamber, and they kind of spill around all of you. And when they see the pearl, they're very relieved, and they say, "Oh, just in the nick of time. We only have a few hours left." And they take the pearl and place it up on the altar where it rests. And when this happens, this very brief flash of that's gone as quickly as it happens, of this almost lavender colored light, and you turn, and where the small mer girl was standing, you see this 8-foot tall goddess, and all of the acolytes begin to kneel as you are standing in the presence of the goddess Calypso. With her eyes are just basically just white. They're just emitting light, and she's, I mean, absolutely the most beautiful creature you've ever seen in your entire life. And you're standing there, holding this fucking trident, the dead corpses of your compatriots before you, and she walks up to you and kind of kneels, like not necessarily kneels, but leans down and plants a kiss on your cheek, and does the same to all of your compatriots. And as her lips touch your cheek, each one of you, breath comes back into your bodies. Zezel, Calico Jack, Harry, Venkin, all of you immediately feel life come back into your bodies, and your eyes open, and as you look up, you see a battered but alive Uruk standing over all of you, and then in front of you is the goddess Calypso. Perry, you immediately recognize who this is. You see, Uruk, are you kneeling to the goddess?
Oh, I wasn't planning on it. I was gonna fucking point this trident at her and be like, if you don't fucking bring my friends back, I'll skewer you too, bitch.
No, yeah, after she plants a kiss on your cheek, you begin to feel the cuts and things on your body healing and closing up, and you feel like strength returning to you. Same with the rest of you. As with each passing moment, you feel more and more back, like, you feel more strength coming back into your breast. And she says, she looks at you, Uruk, and says, and at all of you, and says, brave warriors, you have my utmost respect, and I owe each of you. As she kind of picks a finger up and points at each of you, and a small bead of what almost looks like a pearl, like a little bubble of water. It's a pearl shining all these different colors, among this opalescent white that just kind of almost like oil and water floats directly towards you, and bloop, just kind of breaks against your forehead. And she says, forevermore, those of you who cannot enter my realm will now be able to enter my realm. And Uruk, Venkin, Zezel, you guys can now also, when you're inside of any temple dedicated to Calypso that's underwater, you can breathe underwater. And you basically are blessed by Calypso. And she says, I will grant all of you, for your bravery and your courage, I will grant you a boon. You need only call upon me. And she looks at you, Perry, and says, when the time is right, you can call upon me, and I will grant you one boon. I thank you. And at this, she says, but now it is time. I must do what I must do. I don't have much time. And a whirlpool kind of begins to form around you as you guys are kind of spun up in this whirlpool, and things begin to become, you can't really see what's going on, and the next thing you know, you're splashed down and all of you are laying back in the library, soaking fucking wet to the bone, and not knowing what the basically what the fuck just happened, but you are back where you started, and you guys are sitting up awake, completely wet in the library.
So
In
before all that happened,
ruins.
before the fucking whirlwind, can I fucking shoot finger guns at Calypso?
Absolutely. You fucking finger guns at Calypso, and just before, as the whirlpool begins to start, just before all of you lose the ability to perceive what's going on around you, you get the image of Calypso fucking shooting finger guns at all of you, and you find yourselves back in the library. And as you guys all kind of sit around, water splashing everywhere, you kind of glance over, and Calico Jack is sitting there completely dry, completely unfazed, and is like, what the fuck? And that's where we'll call it for this session.